Alright YouTube, in this video we are going to see how to dynamically add. If you click on insert, it will get added to a list. If you wish to delete, you can delete it, but you can see there is the animation. You will get the source code in the description along with the steps. Now here in this video we don't have steps, we just follow the way I narrate. Fine. Now if you see, we are going to create the HTML, and let me remove all the CSS and JavaScript and start from scratch. Fine. In the body we will have a container which will hold a input field and a button. Fine. It has input field and it has button, and once the container ends, you can see we are going to have a UL, which is unordered list, and here this UL will hold all our dynamically created HTMLs. So just to show you, I would statically create a list item, and this list item will hold button. Fine. Let's give all the tags the classes so that we can call them on the JavaScript. Let the list item has the class list, let the button has the class delete, and let the input field has the class insert. uh, Let the button with plus icon has the class insert. So let's change the input field class to input. Fine. Now we are going to call each classes in the JavaScript. So here we have our script called app.js. This in this file we are going to dynamically call all the classes which we have just mentioned. So before that, when the document loads, we want all the data to get initialized, all the variable to get initialized. For that we will add listener to the window. In the first object we'll give the function, default function, which is load, and in the second argument we will pass the function which need to be run when the window loads. So initialize is the name of the function. This function will load once your whole window or your whole page gets load. Let's check with the alert message. If I refresh it, you can see the alert shows up. That means this function is working fine with the help of add event listener. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use the query selector to get all the classes, and I'm going to store it into a variable. Let me choose all and store it into a variable. Fine, I have just did it. Now before creating an element, we are going to add a listener to the button. Let's get the input button, and here the button will have a listener click. Once we click, we need a function to get executed, and this function will create dynamically list. Let's check whether the listener button is working or not. Yeah, it's working. It shows with the alert. Now just paste the dynamically created list item. So the first line says that in the document create an element called li, and in the second line says that the li will have a class list, and the third line says that the li will have a text say hello, and we are going to append the li to the container. Here the container, as I shown you in the HTML, is the UL. Fine. Now if you yeah, I have done everything. Let's check the output. There shows an error, failed. Let's see what it is. Yeah, I should not have given the same double quotes. Now you can see the hey showing up along with the list item which gets appended to the UL. So let's remove the static. Before removing, we would like to add the button. Let's create an element in the current document. Document.create element. In the current document, create an element called button, and then store it to a variable called button, and this button variable, or you can say this button element, will have class called delete, and this button will have a text called. Before giving text, let's append the button to the li. So if you click on plus, you can see the blank. We would like to add text to it. For that, button dot inner text equal to x. Let's just give the x. Yeah, now we need, fine. Now what we need is we need to change the static hey to the value which get we retrieve, which we get by the input field. So there we have a function val value. It's a property, not a function. For JavaScript it's just a function. Fine. Now once we click on submit, I want the value to get erased. Remove the value once I click on the button insert. That's what it is saying. Now if you type something and click on plus, still the button is showing up. Let's see why it is. Yeah, we need to assign. You can see the apple is still showing up. We don't want the apple to show up. Let's remove the dynamic data, sorry, static data, and this is the dynamic data. Equal to nothing. So once you click, the value gets converted to nothing. Type something plus, it got nothing, but it is getting appended to the ul. Fine, our first part is completely done. We have created the uli and the button dynamically, and we appended it to the ul. Next thing, we are going to delete. Before deleting, we need to get the class, and this class is dynamically appending. We are not going to get the dynamically appended class. We are going to get the container which holds the dynamic data. Here the dynamic data is holding by ul is a container which will have list item. Inside the list item we will have button. Once I click on the ul, this function called delete should get execute. To check whether I have clicked on delete or not, I will pass e to the function. So e dot target will give me the element where I have clicked. So it says unexpected token. I think I have mistaken. Delete, actually you should not use the keyword delete. You should give some other function, some other function name. Delete is the reserved keyword. Let's give some other name called delete it. Now if you type, if you click on x, you can see the place where we clicked has shown up in the console. To get the class list, just add the class list. Now if you click on x, you can say the class, it says undefined. Let's say why it shows undefined. It's because of the spelling mistake. It's class list. You can see the class delete has shown up. Now we got the delete. If I clicked into the delete, e dot target will give me the current element. Let's make it into a variable called list item. If the element has class, let's say delete is equal to delete, then what we do is we remove the li. Let's give some other name instead of li. Let's give button, because the whole button is holding the li. Sorry, the button is inside the li, so we need to remove the whole li instead of just the button. So for that we would use, so you can see the button is inside li. So for that what we do is we get the button and with the help of parent element we will get its parent here is li, and we give remove. Fine. If you type something, click on a plus, it got dynamically appended, and if you click on x, it got disappeared the whole list item. Instead of just the button, with the help of parent element the whole element got disappear. Now before deleting, I want the animation to get added. Here the class we are going to use is fall. This fall will have the transform property, and with opacity, with background, and with small with transition. Fine. Now once, before deleting, what I need is I want to add a class to the button. So for that, this e dot target, if you click the parent element here, the parent element is li. We are going to style to the list item, not just the button. We are going to list item. We are going to style the list item. Fine. This list item should have class, and this class is fall, which will have the transform and transition effect. And this is should be this fung. Let's check whether it is working or not. It is getting deleted immediately. We need to paste it inside the, if the class is delete, then add the class fall to the list item. So if you check, it got deleted quickly. You see there is an error. The spaces are not going away. The data is actually not deleted. To get rid of that error, what you have to do is, let's check again. List item, then add the class. What we need is, we want the animation to get run before we delete. So for that, we would add a transition end function. Once the transition ended, then you can remove the list item. That's what I'm saying. If the transition is ended, then you can remove. Fine, it got removed. It is only happening because once the transition ends, or you can say once the animation ends, you can clearly remove. You can get the source code in the description. Thank you so much for listening.